if you don't mind, it may not be the right stage to do this, but I'd like to give a shout out to Riess.
Oh, absolutely the right stage.
This is the right one.
Oh, yeah.
So Riess, Alphonse, those you watching, you may or may not know, my nephew, he got in an unfortunate accident, received second and third degree burns, currently Children's Hospital in New Orleans. He's been there since February 2nd, I believe, and it's a long road ahead for him. So I just want to give a shout out, Riess. I know it's hard for you, bud. Proud of you.
Hang in there, dude.
Yeah, you're going to get through it. You got people that love you, care about you. I think you got to invest in the people around you and know that it's going to be hard.
Makes it easier when you got a good village or, like you said, the people around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome back, everybody, to another wonderfully difficult episode. We've got Mac back with us. Thanks for stopping back by, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah. It's that last episode was eye-opening, to say the least. I'd like to start this one off with thanking everybody for the support, the comments, the shares, the likes. It really means a lot. Because, you come up here and you put all this time and effort into it, and you just kind of hope that it's doing what you want it to do. So this last episode really drove home the fact for me that, that we're making a difference. We're helping people.
Yeah, absolutely. I lived a good life so far and done a lot of cool, fun things in my life. Basketball, traveling, and this is last episode was by far the coolest experience for me so far. Just seeing that so many people kind of related to my story. And I had so many texts, Facebook messages, people that you haven't heard from in a long time, and you get to talk about the good old days with them just because of a podcast, and it resonated with them. So it was a very cool experience. So, guys, thank y'all for all the feedback. Because, like I said, when you're doing this, you don't know whose life you're going to touch and who's going to, relate to your story in a way. And I'm not saying everybody related to it to the full extent, but if there was bits and pieces that you guys could resonate with and help you in some way, shape, or form, or your situation, it is a very cool experience for me. So, again, thank y'all very, very much.
Yeah, and we appreciate you because, it's not every day that you get up and, you don't know who you're talking to. And you were able to be vulnerable. I'm sure you had a lot of thoughts racing in your head. Am I the only one? And, all those questions. And for you to get that feedback, that's I'm sure that meant a lot to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, it was just a surreal moment for me. And I wish I could name everybody that sent me a text and shot me on Facebook and shared it and all that good stuff. But we'd be here for a whole nother episode, right? And
they know who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, thank y'all very, very much. It meant a lot to me. And it's always encouraging.
Yeah. Last episode, we left off with some information about Riess Alphonse. You gave us an update, and he was still at Children's Hospital.
Yes, correct. He was been there since February 2nd. Had 25% burns on his body, and February 2nd is when everything happened, and been there ever since. So
I still can't wrap my mind around what that must feel like.
Yeah.
Talk about feeling helpless,
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what we're going to get into today is just as a parent, sometimes things happen that's out of your control. And, but, give a shout out to all the first responders, ambulance drivers, nurses, Bogalusa Hospital, and people that anybody that put their hands on Riess, helped Riess get through this. Cannot thank y'all enough. Children's was phenomenal with him, and we got some good news.
Yeah, we do. Jumping off of that, we had discussions after the fact, and probably wondering what all this stuff is right here. We're actually going to start a raffle. 100% of the proceeds will go to the Alphonse family.
Yep.
It's called Rally for Riess. First place will receive not this exact Piro.
Yep.
But one that's very similar.
Yep.
It'll also come with a sack of crawfish and all of the fixings.
Yep.
Those items were donated to us from Piro's Bayou Fiberglass, and the crawfish will be coming from B&T Seafood.
Yep. Shout out Mr. Steven.
No doubt.
Shout out Mr. Steven. Like I said, we made some phone calls and had people call us and wanted to donate a few things and help us out, or help the family out. And that is the power of the podcast, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
People heard that story and wanted to reach out and help. And, cannot thank them guys enough, especially those business owners there.
Yeah.
And like I said, who doesn't love a good old sack of crawfish, right?
Right.
So, in second place, 70 quart Igloo was also donated. That's going to be your second place winner. And like I said, all this is, it's good to enjoy crawfish, and you're going to get a boat looks like this. Obviously, this is ours. It's McElveen's, but it's going to be purple and gold. It's going to say LSU.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. So if you're a Roll Tide fan, we apologize, but
sorry, not sorry.
You can still help a family, and it's for a good cause, right? But no, just remember that everything is sometimes you never know when you're going to be in the situation and you're going to be in need of help.
Right.
And so if you're in a situation where you can lend a helping hand and help this family, it'd be much, much appreciated. And like I said, Riess is now back home. For those of you watching, update from last time he was in the Children's Hospital. He also watched the podcast, saw a lot of people commenting. He sends his, regards, says thank you. But he is now back home with his mom, dad, his other 3 brothers. So now they're reunited as a family.
Yeah, that's a whole nother, we didn't even really touch on that. But, imagine you're going through this traumatic experience with one of your sons, but you also have other kids as well.
Yeah.
That, everybody was affected by that, man. And that's it almost leaves you speechless, because I've never been in a situation, like Jimmy and Tor and them had to go through. So I don't even know how does that work?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I went through something of that magnitude, right? You wake up to, cops beating on your door and kids in the hospital, and they don't have the details to really give you. Now you got to get dressed. You got to run to Bogalusa, and it's just, I'm not going to pretend to put myself in those shoes. But I do know what it is, to see my kid hurt and struggle and not being able to take that pain away. And as a man, there's times that you want help and really need help, right? But you don't know really quite how to ask for it.
Right. Well, there's times that, I guess you're in your head, maybe some of the reasons why you don't want to ask for help. I mean, as a man, or I guess as a person, maybe you think you can do it all by yourself. You think, I got this. I don't need it. Or maybe you're ashamed of what the person will think about you for going through this. Or maybe you think that you're the only one that has this problem and nobody else is going to be able to lend you an advice. Or, the list could go on for these reasons why that men are scared to, I don't know if it's scared. Don't want to ask. But it's weird when you stop and think about it, because men like back in the day, whenever everybody didn't have GPS, and you had to print out the old faithful map quest.
Yeah.
So you got the map quest, and you're lost as, you're way off track, and you'll just stay lost for 3 hours before you stop. And I say, hey man, where is route such and such?
Yeah, and that's like I said, we talked about it earlier, and I don't know why that is, because when you really think about it, men don't ask for help, and like the example you're bringing up, you go to the gas station, or you stop, you don't want to stop at the gas station, you don't want to stop at the store, you don't want to ask the stranger, like, hey man, can you help me? But in all reality, like, you're never going to see them people again.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're never going to see them, and it doesn't matter what they think about you, because you're not going to see them again. The people that that you're worried that you're gonna let down or whatever, right? You're the man. You're supposed to figure it out. You're supposed to know everything, right? Dad's got the
leader.
Yeah, he's got the solution to all problems. But the people in the car
Are the ones.
that you're really worried that you're gonna let down in a way. And as men, and it's a generational thing, right? You talk to the old heads, and I was a man's man, and we created this
Uphill both ways.
Yeah, you created this false narrative that we, it's not a real thing why men can't ask for help. It's just that we've been taught subconsciously in a way that it's a hard thing for us to do, and I guess it's a pride, ego thing that we really don't need to have, but for whatever reason we do.
Yeah, like you said, I think it comes from not necessarily generational, but as a young man, you're taught that all the problems are your problems. It's your job to fix it. It's your job to make your family better by you making the right decisions or you making the sacrifices. So it's just a lot of pressure that you're put on yourself, and I guess asking for help wasn't part of the book that you were given of how to be a man.
Yeah, and I think in order to ask for help, you have to have the right people around you, right?
Right.
And you have to have, like, last episode, if I didn't watch it, I recommend go back and watch it. Tyler spoke on, or you spoke on, having a village. Right? It takes a village. And I think that's very, very key. I think that, you got to have the right people around you, and the right people have to really know Tyler or know Mac, or, know that something's off.
Right.
Right. Because you can know what to ask, and you could even want to ask for, for help. But if you don't have the people there, and let's make it clear, we're going to talk about Jimmy and Tor, and Tyler did speak. We spoke to them. Like, they gave us their blessings to talk about this briefly. No time during this, right, did they like, hey, we really need help. They didn't ask for help.
They didn't ask for anything.
They haven't. They just have a support system around them, right? You want to be the person, or you should want to be the person that that you would want to rely on. Right. And they've done a really good job of that. They have a good support system around them where they don't have to ask for help when they're in a time of need, right? And I think that's part of a man's job, is to figure out his or his family's struggles, and but you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
You should never have to feel like that you're doing something alone.
Well, I guess whenever you reach out to, like, for me and you, for instance, I don't feel weak or less manly if I ask you to help me, because I consider you in the core of my circle.
Yeah.
So all of these things that may be a stigma about being judged or feeling ashamed or feeling less of a person, like, I don't feel that with you.
Yeah.
Because we're past all that, you know. So, but the thing about, we can sit here and talk about a village all day long, but you can't just go out into the world and say, hey, I'm gonna create a core group of people.
No, it takes time, absolutely.
Yeah. So just like you were saying a second ago, you have to be a friend to make a friend in a way.
Yeah.
So basically, to set your village up, you would have to go about it as trying to be a good person. Like you said, you see a man struggling, you step up, and then you do that for 5 years, and then you pause and you look around you, and that there's your village.
Yeah.
Whoever's, you know who it is.
Yeah. No, and you're 100% right. And as men, you know, podcast wonderfully difficult, right? There's a lot of things in our life that are difficult, but we make them difficult because we don't feel like we're in a good enough space where we can ask for help, right? It's a sign of weakness. So, you know, there's times at my job, and I talked a lot about it, you know, in the previous episode where, you know, I may be looking at a problem, troubleshooting the valves or whatever it is. And sometimes 99% of the time, you're going to figure it out, right?
Might take you 4 hours.
It might take you a long time, right?
Right.
But, you know, I call shift mate or whatever. Hey, man, you mind coming over here and taking a look at it for me, and getting that second opinion, getting that experience or whatever it is that you want to do. They might have been through it in life, right? Somebody may be going through the exact same situation, but you don't ever know if you don't ask, right? So, you know, you ask for help, they come over and look at it, you know, and I think we need to do a better job as men when someone asks you that question, right? Hey, man, you know, I'm really going through it, you know. How would you recommend, you know, have you ever been through something like this? Let's take them serious.
Right.
Right. Like as men, you know, I know you're my brother, you know, or, you know, Amber, our sister, right? Of course, when I talk to y'all a lot differently, but if it's a friend or whatever, if they come to me or I go to them, I want to feel and get an honest answer, you know, a real answer back.
Right.
Whereas sometimes as men, you may, hey, if I go out and I get vulnerable, they might just be like, man, tough it up.
Right.
You know, like, come on, dude.
You got your makeup in
like
your
that,
purse.
Yeah. That's what you're dealing with. And that doesn't help anything. That's where that barrier is, because as men, you know, sometimes it's like, man, that's what's really bothering you, you know?
Well, another man's problems may seem
Very minute.
to me. Yeah. You know, the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I guess that kind of goes the same way with the problems as well. But I think that's also too, you know, like you said, in a group of guys, you're gonna bust each other's balls. You're gonna give each other shit. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But it's all lighthearted and it's all fun. But if somebody does, I guess some people may feel uncomfortable when someone's trying to be vulnerable with them, and then that would trigger the be a man. You know, trying to, I guess, protect their masculinity in a way.
So, you know, I talked about golf last week in my golf group. And, you know, if, for example, kind of what you're talking about, if Jared Rome reaches out to me, hey, man, I'm struggling with my golf swing, you know, you mind coming to look at it and see if you can give me some pointers or whatever, you know? Johnny Crane, Grant Ball, whoever in my golf group, hey, man, I'm struggling with it. Yeah, I'll come take a look at it. You know, after a couple of holes, he's struggling, he's frustrated. Mac, you know, you got any tips for me? You know, asking for actual advice. And then Mac says, yeah, I got a good piece of advice for you, dude. Just quit. Take your clubs, throw them away, you know. And
just sell them all.
Sell them all, start over, go to the store, buy you a new golf swing, you know. And you, like you're talking about busting their balls, but, you know, and that's a very minor situation that we're talking about. But that happens a lot in real life where, you know, somebody's asking for actual help and you give them a BS answer, right? And that's not what they're looking for.
Right. They might need some actual help. But then I guess too, though, you know, if you were in, again, I guess it's hard to compare us because we're really close, but, you know, be direct, you know, tell the guy that you normally joke with and you're normally happy with, like, hey, look, man, like this ain't one of those situations. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really need to get this off my chest, or I really need you to advice, or, you know, whatever it is, instead of trying to be more vague about it. But I guess that might be a little bit of the insecurity of losing your man card.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I've experienced it where, you know, somebody's asking and hey, man, you know, if somebody was going through this, like a hypothetical,
right?
You know, like,
kind of set it up.
Yeah. Kind of set it up, you know, hey, you know, if somebody was going through this and whatever, right. And they may not feel super comfortable, like as a person. And I think this is why it's very, very important that you need to, we call it a village, you know, call it a friend circle, call it people that you rely on, however you want to look at it. You know, if you're not comprehending what we're trying to put down, you know, I think it's very, very important because those people need to understand, like, hey, he's asking some odd questions.
Right.
You know, his demeanor's changed, his mood's changed, like his tone's changed. Like, hey, man, do you really want to talk about something? You know, and you have to open up, like, and that's part of this podcast. Like, we need to do a better job as men, lifting men up, not comparing apples to oranges, not doing anything like that. But like when you see a man struggling, like it's our duty, should be our duty to lend out a helping hand.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm always in a position to help. You know, I might be down bad, and when you're down bad, and I can't do anything for you, but just be there for you.
Right. I mean, even in that example, you're still giving me what you got. You know, and that's sometimes when you're going through a dark time, you don't need advice. You don't need money. You just need to not be alone.
Yeah, and sometimes, like you're saying, you if you don't have good, solid advice, if you know somebody comes to you and they're asking you questions that you don't have any experience about, right? Like Tor and Jimmy's situation. I don't have any.
Right.
I don't have any really advice to give you. You know, but I tell you what I can do. I can listen.
Right.
I can ask questions. I can be concerned. You know. And that shows them and that person, like, hey, I like he's genuine, he cares, he's worried about what's going on in my life, and right there, that's part of building that village. That's securing the people around you, you know, and the quality of people around you. So where if something were to happen in my life, because we can pretend, but bad things happen to people, and it doesn't discriminate who it happens to.
Well, I know whenever this situation happened to them, it's not like they were like, I can't wait to go through this devastation. You know, it happens at a drop of a hat, blink of an eye.
Yeah, it like I said, it doesn't discriminate. It's going to happen. I don't have any control over, you know, things. You know, if perfect world, hey, nothing happens to me or my kids or my wife or my family, my loved ones, your kids. But that's not how the real world works, right? Things are going to happen.
Right.
And you're not going to be prepared for them. They were not prepared for this at all.
I don't think there's any way to prepare for that.
There's no way to prepare for it. But I'll tell you what you can do. You can have people around you.
Right. That are willing to step up.
That are willing to step up. But you have to be the person you would want to be around you, right?
Right.
And I think that goes a long, long way. And just trying to be the best version of yourself and, you know, getting quality people around you so when something does happen like this, like, you know, like without asking,
right?
Like, hey, I'm going to receive the help that I need to get through this situation.
Well, I know I spoke to Jimmy on the phone because I didn't just want to get up here and make this whole podcast episode about dealing with what they went through.
Yeah.
So I got his blessing and told him the idea that we're going to do a raffle, and you know, he must have told me 100 times, "Don't do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that." And I'm like, man, if this happened to me, would you not be willing to do the same thing? And he was like, yeah, no doubt. So I was like, all right, well, put a lid on that, you know, let that go.
Yeah, and that's what this whole episode's about, right? It's about men struggling to ask for help, receive help, because, you know, he is in a situation where he was in a helpless situation. There was nothing he could do, right? He didn't cause the situation. There was, you know, Riess was in the doctor's hands and the nurse's hands and the physical therapist's hands, right? And there was nothing Jimmy could do. There was nothing Victoria could do except be there for their kid. Right. So there's nothing that we could do to make that situation or that pain go away from Riess or that family.
Right.
But we can be there for them, you know, in the best way we can be, because they've been good people to us. We're trying to return that favor that we know they would return to us.
Right.
I think it's important to the people listening, like, be a good person and speaking to men from, you know, man to man. Help the people when they need the help, and you know they need the help, and people are reaching out to you. Like, let's take people a little more serious. I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect at this. Like, it's something that this podcast, listening to Wonderfully Difficult, like, really opened my eyes. Like, I need to do a better job when people are down bad, when they're having a bad day at work. You don't know why they're having a bad day at work. We don't know. Right. We have no idea what's going on in their life. So us making a little smart aleck comment, right, may have just put the icing on the cake, and they no telling what they're going to do, how they're going to react, right?
Give people a little grace.
Give people the grace, right?
Right.
If they're having a bad day, let's do a better job as a man to lift that man up. Right. Because we know that the struggles that he's going through.
Yep.
Right.
Put yourself in that shoe.
Try your best. You know, that's all that I'm trying to get my point across here is we could do better as men, We know we could, right? By lifting up other men. But at the same time, you know, it's kind of hard when sometimes I'm feeling down and I have bad days, right? It's hard to try to lift people up. But I think as a community, you know, us talking about this, and I hope, Tyler, you get more people to come on this podcast and, you know, tell their story, because I think it's a beautiful thing what you're doing. You know, let's reiterate that. But as a village, right, we could do so much better.
Right. I guess this is the right direction, the first step. But I will say that since I've made the podcast, me and you have had I mean, you're my brother. I've talked to you more than I've talked to pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
But me and you have had deeper conversations about it. You know, everybody around me, we're having deeper conversations, letting it, you know, it's shedding the light, and it really has made a difference so far from what I can tell. I just hope we, like you said, keep going, have more guests, have you come back whenever.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm grateful for the opportunity, and grateful for the Alphonse family for all the things that they've done for me. Good people.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're part of my village. I hope that I'm part of theirs. To anybody that, you know, is home listening to this, like if you can, when people are, whether they're joking or not, whether they're asking odd questions about, you know, what would you do in this situation, or hypothetical questions, like, let's do a better job at listening. Right. Listening and lending that helping hand
Offering
out.
help.
Just making a gesture.
Well, even if you don't have a material thing, just reach out to them, call them. You know, hey man, how you doing? You doing all right? You doing good? Just a conversation.
Well, that goes back to, you know, just what I was saying earlier. Sometimes if you don't have advice, you know, the best thing you do is just listen, ask questions, you know, and be concerned, and that right there shows the love and the support,
the compassion. Lets people know that. Well, man, I thought nobody was thinking about me, but man, I had like 6 people call me already. So somebody's, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't really give them anything, but let them know you were thinking about them. Let them know, hey, I'm here, man. You need something, I got you.
Yeah.
So that goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Whenever life's piling up on you and you feel like you can't breathe, you know, those little things like that, man, it don't cost nothing to be nice. It's free.
It's free of charge. And like I said, it's something that we could all work on. And this isn't just to men, like wives at home. I had a couple wives comment on the post, you know, things that they didn't really understand, and their husbands work off, and, you know, like, we could all do better, you know, the wives included, the husbands, you know, friends, loved ones.
Right.
Like, let's take people a little more serious.
Right.
You know,
we're not, I don't want anybody to get a mixed signal here. We're not saying that men's the only ones with problems.
No, absolutely.
I understand that women have problems as well, but I can't speak on those because I'm not them.
Yeah.
I can only speak on what I am. So.
Yeah. So wives, you know, hey, y'all are more welcome on the podcast as well, you know. So
shed a little light on the other side.
Shed a little light on the other side. It'd be a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful thing.
You know, and then just to dip back into what we were talking about a minute ago, about, you know, the reasons why people may not ask for help. But in all reality, if someone that you care about comes to you in a genuine way and asks for that help, would you ever look at that person and say you should be ashamed of yourself, or you should be any kind of negative thing, or do you feel an honor and a pride that?
No, that's to me, you know, younger me, I probably would have said stuff that, you know, hey, tough up. But like, the older I get and the more I'm in the shoes of the one that's like asking the questions, right? Like, if somebody was to come to me and say, hey man, you know, I'm really going through it, you know, I think that's an honor.
Yeah.
I guess one of the highest honors that you could get. Like, hey man, you trust me with your problems, and trust me that I can maybe help you out of this problem.
Give you some advice.
Like, man, I think that's a beautiful thing in itself, you know, and I would appreciate it, and I would try to help in the best way I could. But like I said, we have to open up, and we have to talk about the things that if they're bothering you and you have the problems, like, you're my brother. They know that by now. But you know when Mac's struggling.
Correct.
You don't have to, there's nothing needs to be done. But, you know, a friend at work may not know Tyler, and they might not know Mac. Like, hey, I may have to reach out to the guy where, hey man, look, I'm really struggling, man. Like, you may not know it because you don't know me like on a personal level. We're just work related friends,
Right.
But like, you're the best thing I got right now, and I got to get this off my chest.
Right. Just
I'm bottling up. I'm about to lash out, and I'm about to say things at work that I don't mean. I'm about to say things to my wife, to my friends, to whoever.
right. Anybody. Can get it.
Anybody, right? And I really need you, and that's where I know this is the podcast. That's the direction you want to go, where men feel more comfortable talking to, call it a stranger.
Right.
Call it, you know what I'm saying? If it's just somebody just sitting at the bus stop, right? Hey man, look, we may not ever see each other again, but I really need to get this off my chest.
Need to tell somebody.
I need to tell somebody, and we need to do a better job of listening and being willing to be vulnerable. I know that's where you're trying to get it. I think it's a beautiful thing.
But I guess if you are one of those people out there that's listening and you feel like you can't talk to somebody because you're going to be judged or, any of those negative things, just know that most people, when you come to them and ask them, it's a privilege. It's an honor that you look at me in that light. So don't think that someone's going to, and if they do judge you for it, well, then you shouldn't be around them anyway.
Yeah. And as men, they might joke with you and pick with you, but at the end of the day, especially in my line of work, right? Like, they're going to pick with you, they're going to joke with you, but at the end of the day, like, I know there's probably 10 guys at the chemical plant I could call right now, and they would help me get through whatever it is that I need to get through. And they would probably
give you shit the whole way through it.
Yeah, they would. But
they would help you though.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's different. That's
kind of like what
different.
you were saying earlier when we were talking about it. Like, you got something heavy at work and you need to pick it up.
Right.
Right. Hey man, can you come help me pick this up? I can't pick it up by myself. And the whole time they're picking on you how weak you are, but they're helping you.
They got the other side.
They got the other side, but they're talking about you, right? And that's just how men are. But I think we need to do a little bit better job of, I guess, taking people a little more serious. And if you're in a village, you're in a circle, you have those people, like, they know the difference. They know the difference between, hey, Mac's joking or Mac's really going through it.
Right.
Right. And I think that's where we need to get to.
Yeah. And it's a difficult thing to try to ask, like you said, asking for help and all that stuff. It's hard to, I guess it's easy to say when we're talking about it, you know what I mean, in this fashion, but it's a little bit harder to actually do it. But then, also too, with the podcast, do is complain and whine all the time. Like, no, that's not what direction I'm trying to go to, because you still have to be tough. You still have, all those pressures are still on you. It's still up to you.
Yeah.
But you don't have to live with it alone. You can talk to your other fellow men who are going through the same struggles, and maybe you can relate and be like, oh, okay, well, I thought it was just me.
No, yeah. And I think that's, a good way of saying it. Like, we still have to be, the man of the household, and we still have to make, the tough decisions that the wife might not want to make, or, people around you might not want to make. Sometimes you have to do those uncomfortable things, but it's not what we chose. That's how we were born, right? We were born into making those sometimes hard decisions and having those hard conversations, and that's just part of being a man. That's never going away. Right. That's never going away. That's just being a father and the leader of your household. And, you're not trying to soften people up. I don't think that, we're trying to persuade that. Just trying to say, it is okay.
It's almost like a support group.
That's all it is.
Just give you a platform to talk about it.
That's all it is, because, like I said, you never know when you're going to be, in the Alphonse family situation and you need a helping hand. Right. They never had to ask for it.
Right. They've had not only this deal that we're putting on, but they've also had numerous other people to step in and watch other kids and pick up other kids. And, I mean, their other kids still had to go to school. Yep. So they had plenty of other people.
And that's just being that's a testament to Jimmy and the type of man he is. Being there for others and
Tor as well.
Right? Like, that's part of it. That's a testament to them. And I think we could all do better.
I know I've never hung out with either one of them and left and been like, man, every time I've left, it's always been like, that's a good people.
Yeah.
So it makes it real easy to go out of your way to help them out, or not really out of your way, but just to be there for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess, again, rally for Riess. Be looking. We're in the process of making some flyers that we can share.
Yeah.
Try to get the word out there. I don't think we went over the price of the actual tickets. There's going to be limited tickets sold.
Limited amount. Correct.
You can get one ticket for $15, or you can get two tickets for $20.
Yeah. In a perfect world, we would let this go for months on end and try the best to, help them out as much as we can. But, when you get a mortgage, it comes around once a month.
Right.
Regardless. Light bill, things like that. So, we're trying to raise as much money as we can as quickly as we can for this family and get them through the next month or so. Just because Riess is home, I know we talked about it earlier, it does not mean it's over. He still has to go
road.
Weekly back to Children's, do checkups. Mom and dad now becomes mom and dad. They come physical therapist, nurse, doctor. Right. They're still going to have to be there 24/7 to help Riess move around. Like I said, I got a chance to go see him yesterday. Father-in-law's down, boil some crawfish. And, he's in good spirits, moving around the best he can. But, no person should go through it, let alone a 12-year-old.
Right.
But, he's handling it the best he can. He has a village around him, people helping him and guiding him through this the best we can. So, again, just want to give a shout out to the people that's donated, the ice chest and the boat and the sack of crawfish. And if you're from South Louisiana, right now crawfish prices are high, right? So who wouldn't spend $20 to get two tickets and a chance to win this, right? So
it's a great cause.
It's a great cause, and again, we didn't say this at the beginning of the podcast. Probably should have. Second place winner getting the ice chest 70 quart. I personally will fill it with whatever beverage you want, whether non-alcoholic or alcoholic.
Depending on who wins,
Yeah.
You got to see that ID.
Got to see the ID?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to go to jail.
Wink, wink. All right, we'll take care of you. It's going to be a good time for a good cause. And again, this is not from me. This is from the Alphonse family. They are very, very thankful for everything that we've done for them, everything that you guys have done for them or that are planning on doing for them. And again, thank y'all. And thank y'all to the first responders, nurses, doctors, everybody that helped Riess get to where he's at. And we appreciate it very, very much.
And one more time, again, thank you to the Piro Bayou Fiberglass.
Yep.
And also the B&T Seafood.
Yep. Shout out, Mr. Steven.
This wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for what they did. So,
yep,
much appreciated on that. I don't think when you win with first place, you win the boat, you win the sack of crawfish and all the fixings and all that. But that'll all come from Mr. Steven, right?
Mr. Steven, yes. So if you do happen lucky enough to win first prize, the boat, I'll get with you. Tyler will get with you. We'll get the sack of crawfish to you along with the boat. So that way, all you have to do is bring your pot and burner. You'll have you'll have everything with it. You'll have the lemons, the potatoes, the seasoning, the boat. If you don't like Cajun land, I don't know what to tell you. Cajun land's all we know and love around here. So, again, thank y'all so much for everything and all the support from last week. I can't reiterate that enough, and I look forward to the feedback from this episode.
Yeah, man. Well, again, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being a part of it. This wasn't done by me alone. This was a team effort from a lot of people. So, thank you.
Village.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Well, I guess this is wonderfully difficult.
Thank y'all.